Hello Internet! As this spring advances at its own pace, I have turned my mind to summer activities. And I mean traveling with my motorcycles. The world here is more or less open now. I can pass borders without COVID worries. In Scandinavia we just ride through borders. The same goes for the European Union area. In some other countries I need to show my passport, well, like in old days. So, I have usually done a few trips during summer. 1 or 2 are with my friends together to some motorcycle meeting. It takes 2 or 3 days for each meeting, and they are important trips for me. It's so nice to see old friends and make new ones, to spend some quality time with colleagues or good friends, and to talk about maybe a future trip to make together. Then I have had some trips myself, proper solo motorcycle traveling. Those trips are normally longer, let's say 1 or 2 weeks. I want to walk through briefly my trip planning process. I bet everyone has their own specific steps, but I just want to go through mine so that you might get 1 or 2 nuggets out of it. All my planning starts with one idea. It's something which comes to me during my previous trip, or it's something which comes to me during the long winter season. The idea is kind of centerpiece of my trip. The idea might be a place to visit, like traditional tourist attractions, or some nice place where nature is its best. I love to visit the sea or mountains. But the idea could be a route, like the Trans-European Trail, or part of it in some country. Once I decided to check out the 2 sounding rocket launch sites in Scandinavia. There's a video about this trip. After my main idea, I start to develop a route. I have to take into account the bike which I'm going to use. Sometimes I can use gravel roads, sometimes I have to stay on the tarmac. I have to decide what kind of daily stints I like to take. Many times I have the longest day ride at the beginning and at the end of the trip. My daily mileage is something between 200 to 600 kilometers, but that depends a lot. Then I decide on the other issues like accommodation. I might take a tent, or I decide to stay in hotels and camping grounds in small huts, so no tent is needed. I occasionally devise a backup plan, which is the detour from the path, or I might have other areas to go for a reserve. For example, the weather may be so bad that I must resort to plan B. I don't mind riding in the rain, that's not the issue, but if a terrible weather front approaches for a day or 2, I might reconsider my plans. Many times I have rather successfully gone through my plans. But sometimes I don't have a plan. I ride in some direction and then decide what to do. But if I have some strict time restrictions, for example, I have to be back on a certain day, I tend to follow my plans. So, I'm putting my trips together of several elements. Of course, the main focus is the trip itself, if you know what I mean. Traveling by motorcycle to some unvisited places is important. But in order to enjoy all sides of the trip, the intermediate goals are equally important. I'm not going to say how wonderful it is to travel, since I believe it's self-evident. We are all aware that travel broadens our perspectives, allows us to learn about different cultures, and makes us feel more connected to the world in general. What I like to convey is something unexpected. The ways in which travel can make me a happier person. Well, I'm going to go through the traveling specific issues later when I'm closer to leaving. How I prepare myself for the trip, how I prepare my bike, and what kind of stuff I take with me. Well, about the bikes. I have to do basic maintenance on both of my bikes before I leave. You know, the oils, checking the brakes and other vital functions. But nothing major I couldn't achieve in my home garage. Tinkering with my bike is a golden time for me. I can switch off my brains about work or ordinary household issues. I just concentrate to work in hand. I've always tried to find motorcycle-specific manuals for maintenance. You know, the factory instructions. They are my help when something new comes up. They tell me what to do in a certain order, how much I can torque the bolts, what's the measure of the oil and other liquid, what are the valve clearances. Even the hardest and longest tasks appear as a numbered list of subtasks. I just love these books. They are not easily available for all bikes, but I have had the luck to have them. So, now I end this long monologue and start to do something. First of all, I'm going to make a video about planning and executing a solo motorcycle trip. Much more detailed than this one. In that video, it's going to be all my experiences and some really important tips and tricks for you. We'll see in the next video. Cheers!